Hey, what is up? What is up? What is up? How's it going out there in Twitchville this afternoon? Let's get into some Legacy of Gravehold. What do y'all say? Got the second game just about to get set up here. I got some stickers to apply and choices to make and stuff before we get into it, but you know. Sorry, give me just 1 second here. Bum bum ba bum. And needless to say, we're going to be going into spoiler territory here, so, you know. Alright, so, at the end of the last game, we defeated the, Bishop of Scrolls? And we were reading number 6 in the book, and we had a choice to make, which is where we called it. So, as the group reaches the outskirts of New Gravehold, they find a few mages already waiting for them. Inko is leaned up against the gate, out of breath, and a few feet away. Claudia is far more anxious looking than her usual chipper self. Mom, Dad, Claudia calls out as she sees them. Claudia, Malistar rushes up to check on his daughter and make sure she's all right. What's wrong? Why have you come back from your expedition to the ruins? Everything was going super great for so long, but all of a sudden, out of the blue, Claudia makes a huge gesture with her hands like an explosion. Not one but two nameless come out of these big, awful purple portals. We couldn't handle them all on our own, but we couldn't leave the site undefended either. They're going to destroy all the ancient artifacts and everything. I came back here to find you guys. We need help right away. At the ruins, Gygar asked, looking pale at the news of his life's work being threatened. It's the same at Southpost, Inko says, his voice and expression dark. We're pinned down by a nameless that came out of nowhere. Our scouts didn't have a chance to see it. The thing appeared right in front of us. We have some fortifications, but they haven't been fully repaired from when Necroswarm attacked. The people won't hold out much longer without help. Gygar steps forward. All these nameless, they're being summoned by Zana. She was a traitor to the council all along. Brahma sent us to gather as many mages as we could to defend New Gravehold in case she attacks outright. Inko scowls and spits on the ground. Hasn't Zana already hurt Southpost enough? One poisoned root infects the whole plant. Nook and I would be happy to help defend New Gravehold, but we can't let the ruins be destroyed. They're too important, and letting these nameless just run rampant isn't good either. Yes, and I am willing to help as well, Inko agrees, as soon as I know the outpost is secure. So we can help Claudia, or we can help Inko. I'm leaning towards Claudia at the ruins, personally, which is numbered 56. So, here's Claudia. Oh good, Claudia says, wiping the sweat from her brow. I was trying to be cool and pretend I could handle this, but we are in way over our heads out there. You guys are lifesavers. Inko tosses his head and pushes himself to standing. I understand. The ruins hold powerful artifacts that can help you protect more people. I just hope that my and Talix's strength is enough to hold out on our own. Malistar puts a hand on his daughter's shoulder and then turns back to Inko. As soon as we finish helping Claudia, we will come lend our aid to you. Come on. Claudia slips out from beneath Malistar's hand and rushes forward, before turning around with an exasperated expression. It's life or death here, people. We have to move. Find the ruin sticker on sticker sheet 3, section 2, and place it in the blank space on the ruins on your map. Find sticker sheet 4, add a variety of stickers, do a variety of things. Alright, so we're finding stickers, first off. What are we finding? Sticker sheet 3, section 2. Sticker sheet 3, section 2, the ruin sticker. Add it to the blank space on the ruins on your map. Ruins has been added. Find sticker sheet 4, section 2, and add stickers E and F to your rulebook. Okay. So many sticker sheets. Sticker sheet 4. Section E says Severed. These particular void creatures seem to have the uncommon ability to cut a mage off from their source of ether itself. While such an effect should only be temporary, a mage without a connection to ether would not be able to harness any kind of spell. I have never encountered such a thing before in my studies. I wonder where they could have learned such a feat. When a mage becomes severed, place a severed sticker over the affiliation seal on the upper left-hand corner of the front of their player mat. This mage cannot be played after you finish fighting this nemesis. Ooh. If you are instructed to immediately replay this nemesis, you may use this mage for that game. When you are finished fighting that nemesis, the narrative booklet will instruct you to read a passage if there are severed mages. Read that passage in the narrative book. Then set the mage aside for the rest of the campaign, as you are not allowed to use them again. Ooh. Okay. Vestiges. When a mage is severed, they cannot fight anymore, so they pass along their tools to the rest of the mages. After reading the text related to the severed mage, you will be directed to a sticker in the insights envelope. This sticker must be applied before the next game. These stickers function exactly like enhancement stickers with 2 exceptions. They do not have any experience cost to apply them. Some of them are used to enhance a mage's ability. These ability stickers are applied to a player mat in the ability section. When a player resolves that mage ability, they resolve the ability vestige afterward. Just like with other enhancement stickers, you are allowed to sticker over vestige stickers. Neat. Okay. So it sounds like we have the very real possibility of mages getting not killed, but taken out of the campaign anyway. So we need to put these on page 23. That's cool. Sounds bad. It's cool and bad. I put that sticker in poorly, but c'est la vie. All right, we did that. What was next? Open envelope 7 and get some mages. Okay. Envelope 7. We got Claudia and Nook. Okay. Claudia is a visionary and Nook is timeless, as one does. Next time you gain a card on this turn, you may place it into any ally's hand. Then any ally gains a copy of the same card and places it into their hand. Okay. Nook's ability says, return up to 3 crystals from your hand or discard pile to the regularity deck. Place up to 3 anomaly cards from the regularity deck into your hand. Set 4 crystals and 1 spark next to this mat to form the regularity deck. Weird. Okay. We'll check more about the regularity deck in a second. Sounds weird. CN is the next deck of cards we need to get. Presumably with these mages starting cards in it. Yep, CN. Alright, so we've got Claudia's stuff, which is Jubilant Halo, deal 1 damage, gain 1 ether that can only be used to gain spells. Play this as a copy of a gem in your hand. Interesting. And then the rest of this is all Nook stuff, which looks wild. If this is the first anomaly card you have played this turn, return this to the regularity deck and gain a spark from that deck. Focus one of your breaches. Repeat this once. If this is the first anomaly card you have played this turn, return this to the regularity deck and gain a crystal from that deck. Gain 2 ether, silence a minion. Get a crystal from the regularity deck. Gain $2. Any ally gains a charge. Gain $2. Just gain $2. Wow, interesting. Wow. Wow, Nook seems really neat. So every time, these are all one-shot cards, these anomalies. After you use one, it gets replaced from his side deck, and then his ability lets you take anomalies back out of his side deck. That seems really neat. Okay, when you are ready to begin the next game, read section 7. Okay? I am ready to begin the next game. Section 7 says, as the group approaches the southern outpost. Did I read the right one? Hold on. I thought we were going to the ruins. No, 58. It's envelope 7. Section 58. Okay. As the group approaches the ruins, Claudia pulls them aside to duck into a small alcove that must have once been the top floor of some guard tower. It reaches up high enough to come up out of the water that submerges much of what is left of old Gravehold. Nook is crouched inside, along with a group of scholars and laborers who have been assisting in the excavation. You aren't here yet, Nook says, relief flooding his voice. Oh yeah, that's Nook's talk for hello. Claudia leans over to Kadir and loudly whispers, Nook's a little bit weird, terrible at telling time. You get used to it. Nook, what's happened to the ruins? Gygar asks, leaning forward. First the other, then one, Nook nods quickly, clearly distressed. And one on another and another on one. Both are one and one becoming both. Pairs in pairs. Claudia scratches her chin for a moment before shaking her head. Yeah, I got none of that. But I think we can safely boil it down to 2 big monsters. Let's kill them. Nook nods in pleased agreement. Sounds about right to me, Kadir grins. Everyone prepare yourself. One nameless presents enough of a danger. We don't want to underestimate 2. Okay. Find sticker sheet 6, section 4, and add these enhancements to your barracks. Okay. Sticker sheet 6, section 4. Okay. We're going to need a pair of scissors. Let me grab that real quick. Okay. We've got relationship enhancements for Claudia, Kadir, and Malistar. I get because Claudia is their daughter. Claudia gains a card that costs 6 or more. You gain a charge. During your turn, Claudia may discard a card. If she does, you gain $1. Okay. When an invention gem or relic is played or an invention spell is prepped, you gain an ether token. Okay. Seems fine. You may now spend your experience on enhancements. Build the supply using cards from your Gravehold barracks following the rules on page 14 of the rulebook. Turn any cards that you did not use to your Gravehold barracks. Open envelope 18 and deck PM. Okay. Looking for deck PM. Okay. Presumably that's our Nemesis stuff. Ooh. Paradox of Myth and Bone. Got their own little thingy. Oh, cool. So this is it looks like this is a two-part Nemesis. That's cool. We'll get into that in a minute. Let's look at what enhancements we might want to spend some XP on. We've got 6 XP each. Defend the ruins from Paradox of Myth and Bone. If you defeat Myth, read section 50. If you defeat Bone, read section 40. Huh. I guess you can defeat one or the other. Okay. So let's see what we might want to spend XP on here. We've got all of these relationship enhancements. They seem cool, but also, if people are about to start dying, maybe they're less good. Let's see what spark and crystal enhancements we've got. Breach enhancements. One additional damage from Breach 2. Player who cast it may destroy this breach to place a card in play. That seems weird. The spell is cast from this breach. If the player who cast it has no closed breaches, that spell deals an additional 3 damage. Wow, okay. So we could really amp up some damage. Probably for Lost, he was the guy that wanted a lot of spells, right? So he would have to open his 2 and 3 breach, and then his breach number 1 does 3 extra damage, which seems really, really powerful, actually. So those are good. Crystal enhancements. When you gain a card that costs 6 or more this turn, boost this. If this is fully boosted, gain an additional $1. Gain $1 that can only be used to focus or open a breach. Seems good. The next time you gain a charge this turn, you may have an ally gain it instead. Boost a card in your hand. Gain $1 that can only be used to buy a spell. If a minion was discarded this turn, gain $2. Deal 3 damage, but only to the Nemesis. Interesting. If there are 6 or more other cards in your discard pile, you may return a card from your discard pile to your hand. If there is a spell that costs $5 or more, prepped to an adjacent breach, boost this. If it is fully boosted, gain 1 charge. Interesting. At the start of the game, this will boost 2 cards in the supply. Ooh, okay. So this will just let us boost cards in the supply. This will heal Gravehold or a player, which will basically let you start with 12 life or let Gravehold start with 35 life. Those both seem good. I think we're going to stay on Lost for a minute because I like him a lot. And then maybe we transition over to Claudia, because Kadir didn't really do a lot with her path tokens. I mean, they seem alright, but Claudia wants to get charges, definitely. Do any of these give you charges? Start of the game, choose one and then cross it out. Gain 2 charges, gain $2. Focus your breach with the lowest focus cost twice. Destroy the top card of your deck. When you open a 3 or 4 breach, remove 1 fire token from your location on the map. That seems alright. When you gain a card that costs $5 or more, boost a card that you have played this turn or that is in your discard pile. Speaking of which, there was... Let me look back. I'm pretty sure one of these things said something about... Oh, no, okay. It was a different one. It says something about having 2 or fewer fire tokens, but that was for a different section than the one that I was actually reading. So, okay. Right, let me grab my breaches here. So I guess the question for Lost is, do we fire up his 2 breach for 1 additional damage because it starts open, right? And that's just value from the first turn, right? Or do we fire up his 1 breach to, once he opens his 3 and 4 breaches, do 3 extra damage? They both seem quite good. I think we're going to take instant value. And then after this game, maybe he'll get the other one too. Alright, so we're going to spend 6 XP for Lost. On this one, spells cast from this breach deal 1 additional damage. So he just starts... Sorry, that's a 2 breach. He just starts with that from the beginning because his 2 breach starts open. So, seems good. And then Claudia. Claudia wants money and charges so that she can feed cards to Lost, basically. Is the setup that we're looking at here. So, she's at 6 XP. And what's her starting deck these days? 3 crystals and sparks. Okay, so she doesn't have a super strong economy at the beginning. I think we're going to we're going to boost one of her crystals. Or we're going to give one of her crystals the ability to be boosted. for 2. It says anytime you gain a card that costs 6 or more this turn, boost this. If this is fully boosted, gain an additional $1. So that'll boost her economy eventually. And then we're also going to spend 4 to turn this crystal into or boost a card in your hand. Where are the boost things are underneath the yeah, okay. So we're going a little future investment on Claudia. Claudia and Lost is what we're looking at for our team for the time being. Hopefully we don't, they don't die, I guess, is the thing. So that's all of our XP. And grab our starting cards, I guess. Nook looks awesome, but also like real crazy. I don't know that that's what we're gonna get into at this particular juncture. Usually when I'm live streaming, I like to keep it a little less off the deep end, Okay, so that's our starting stuff. We also need 5. We need 10 crystals and 8 crystals and 6 sparks. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6. Okay. Stack that off to the side. We do also need to stick these on our upgraded crystals to make sure we remember that they are upgraded. Okay. And that is all of our XP. Now we need to build the market. Alright, Scrying Sugalite, we definitely want to keep. That one lets us get extra econ for Lost, because he's going to have a lot of spells. Cobalt Clump. Next time you gain a card that costs 5 or more this turn, silence a minion. Yeah. Alright, I liked Ether Dust a lot. Did we got another gem, right? Yeah, what were the new cards we had? Gain $2. You may discard this after any ally focuses a breach. If you do, they focus that breach again. I don't think that's better. We'll probably just stick with the same 3. Same 3 that we had, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that's the gems. Quicksilver Bolts and Volcanic Shrapnel were the 2 new spells that we got. Quicksilver Bolt says you may prep this spell to one of your opened breaches during any ally's main phase. When you prep this during your main phase, boost this. Deal 3 damage. If this is fully boosted, it deals 1 additional damage. Okay, well, we'll probably take that since it's boostable, Volcanic Shrapnel. Deal 1 damage, deal 1 damage, deal 1 damage. Well, Lost definitely wants this, right? Especially if we get him hooked up. This might be a future card once we get him the breach that does infinite damage. Because that would be 12 damage, 333, or 444 rather. Okay, so Electrum Rod. Any player may focus one of their breaches. If that player has a prepped spell that costs 5 or more, gain 1 charge. Alright, Electrum Rod and Chaos Charm seemed fine. So what do we swap? I think we're swapping out Fractured Lightning for Quicksilver Bolt, just because Fractured Lightning seems kind of bad. And we'll keep Rainbow Surge. And we do put the boosted one on the bottom. And we'll keep Grass Blade and Cascade. Grass Blade just so Lost can buy cheap spells. And Cascade, just because it seemed good. I mean, you can return stuff from your hand, right? Okay. So, that is the market that we're going to play with. We swapped out a couple of things. I do like that you don't banish the cards in this version that you don't put into the market right away. So if we, we can change our mind on some of that stuff at a later date. If it seems relevant for us to do so. Get these up on screen here. Filbo. Going down on breaches and focus, please, for someone who has no idea. Yeah, I'll go over it once we get the game set up here. Filbo, how are you doing this afternoon? Alright, so we got 2 5s now and a 2, which is actually a weird cost spread, but we didn't have a lot of cheaper options, really. We had a 4 and an 8, so, and the 4 seemed bad, because it has a possible downside of the Nemesis unleashing, So, there is our market. This is our starting mage stuff. So we do need to get the Nemesis set up here, and they're going to be they appear to be 2 Nemesis at the same time, so that's going to be interesting. Curious to see how that's going to work. Open up their cards. Ooh, they've each got their own deck also. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is the paradox of myth and bone, and apparently myth is this flying head, and bone is this weird body that it's chained to. That makes total sense. Why not? Okay, when making the Nemesis deck, you will make 1 deck for myth and 1 deck for bone. Use only myth-specific cards for myth's deck, and only bone-specific cards for bone's deck. No basic or upgraded cards are used for all player counts. Use all of the tier 3 cards. For 2 players, use 4 tier 2 cards. For 2 players, use 3 tier 1 cards. Place the myth Nemesis. Okay, so hold on. No basic or upgraded basic cards are used. For all player counts, use all the tier 3 cards. For 2 players, use 4 tier 2 cards. Okay. So we're only using 4 of these. Ooh, there's evil baboons here also, so that's cool. So I guess we'll just shuffle this up and discard a couple of. 5. We need to discard 1. One of them. That one. Bum, 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 bum. And for... Ooh, there's more gibbers. Ooh, and a weird frog, too. This is cool, man. Okay, so, 2 players, we use 3 tier 1 cards. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Easy enough. Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1. Okay. So again, for Tier 2 cards, we are using 4. There are 5, so I'm discarding 1. And then we're using 3 Tier 1 cards. There are 5, so I'm going to discard 2. All right. So there's our Nemesis decks. Place the Myth Nemesis dial next to the normal Nemesis dial. Set both these to 40 life. For 1 or 2 players, Myth and Bone each gain 10 life. So they're at 50 life each. Making the Nemesis deck. They each have their own deck. Use only Myth. Yeah, okay. Replace the Nemesis turn order cards in the turn order deck with the Myth and Bone turn order cards. Myth and Bone, there we go. So let me grab the turn order cards so we can do that. Shuffle these guys up. Additional rules. When the Myth turn order card is drawn, resolve all of Myth's powers and minions in play and draw a card from the Myth Nemesis deck and place it into the Myth play area. Okay. When the Bone turn order card is drawn, resolve all of Bone's minions in play and draw a card from the Bone Nemesis deck and place it into the Bone play area. On their turn, any player may spend $3 to remove a power token from a power in play. The last power token on a card cannot be removed in this way. Myth and Bone are considered 2 separate nemesis. The Myth Nemesis dial will be used to keep track of Myth's life. The normal Nemesis dial will be used to keep track of Bone's life. Myth and Bone have no maximum life. When an effect affects the nemesis, the players choose which nemesis is affected. When a player becomes exhausted, the nemesis with the lowest life gains 7 life instead of unleash twice. When Myth or Bone is reduced to 0 life, the players win. When there are no nemesis cards in either nemesis deck, the players win, and the nemesis with the lower life is defeated. Okay? So we just need to kill one of these guys. Presumably we're going to focus fire one. And then their Myth and Bone unleash effects are, if Myth has more life than Bone, Bone gains 3 life, otherwise Bone unleashes. When Bone unleashes, Gravehold or any player suffers 2 damage. Okay. So we are going to need separate play areas for these guys, which is going to be, let's say, a little tricky as far as, keeping track of stuff, but it'll be fine. Put Myth up here and Bone down here. And, we'll reconfigure that as needed. Set our player stuff up here. And then we'll get into the dang thing. I know we've been faffing around for quite a while here. But, you know, that's what happens in a Legacy game. There's a lot of stuff. All right. So we get Molten Forge, 1 spark, and 3 crystals in Lost starting hand, and then 2 crystals, a bronze ingot, and 2 sparks in his deck. For Claudia, we get 3 crystals, 1 jubilant halo, and 1 spark. And then a mirror shard, 2 crystals, and 2 sparks. So we can boost this twice on our first go round. Because mirror shard is going to copy this, which says boost a card in your hand. So we should be able to get this fully boosted almost immediately. And then once we get these other some other boost cards, then we'll be able to start boosting stuff really heavily, I guess. Okay. Philbo, how are you doing this afternoon, my friend? Always a pleasure to see you coming around. Grab a couple of D10s for our life, and we're going to get into this dang thing. How's that sound to y'all? So I don't know which one of these guys we want to focus fire first, basically. When Myth unleashes, she heals Bone. So maybe we just try to kill Myth. Since Myth is not going to be healing herself, basically. That's my current game plan. I guess we'll see how things turn out for us. Well, Bone's up first. Bone unleashes. Any player discards a prepped spell. If Bone has less life than Myth, Bone unleashes. Okay, well, Bone unleashes. Gravehold or any player suffers 2 damage. Sorry, Gravehold. Easy enough. Some discard piles up here, I guess. Alright, well, great. Player 2 goes. Player 2 is going to prep this Spark. Player 2 is going to spend $3 to open this Breach and prep this Jubilant Halo. Seems correct. Player 1 goes. Oh, right, and right. Let me take this Lost's turn, and then we'll talk about the thing that you wanted to know, Philbo. All right, so we're gonna prep these 2 spells. We've got $3. I think it's buying a Scrying Sugalite, right? Yeah, probably so. Okay, so Philbo, breaches. Let's look at this breach, right? Currently, this side is facing up on this breach, and it says 10 ether to open. On Lost's turn, I could pay $10 and just open this to its open side. Once it's opened, you can prep spells into it to cast on your next turn during the spellcasting phase, right? So Lost starts with 2 open and 2 closed. So this started like this. You can also pay this lesser cost of 4 ether to focus this breach, which rotates it 1 step, making it cheaper to open in the future. Also, if you focus a breach, you can prep a spell into it for that turn only that you focused it. And then you have to cast that spell at the beginning of your next turn. That is the gist of it. They're basically like spell slots that you need to open up to be able to cast more spells, basically. Player 1 goes again. And we're going to cast these two things. This does 2 damage to, who did we say we wanted to kill? Myth has more life than Bone. Bone gains 3 life. I feel like there's going to be punishment for just trying to focus one or the other, but, you know. It's what we're going to try. Okay, so... Sorry. We did 2 damage to Paradox of Myth. Yeah, once they're open, they stay open. Gain $2 that can only be used to buy a spell. 2, 3... So we've got $5 to buy a spell right now. I think we're going to go ahead and buy... Buy a Cascade. We prep our 2 spells, and then all of this money is spent. Player 2 goes again. Alright, so we deal 1 damage, and we gain $1 that can only be used to gain gems. No, we actually just do 2 damage. Down to 46. We prep these 2 sparks, and then Mirror Shard is a copy of a gem in our hand. We're going to copy this crystal, which says boost a card in your hand. We're going to boost this card twice. Because once we boost this card fully, it'll be $2, and we'll just start with a $2 crystal in our hand. That will then make this card, you know, less useful in the future, but it's fine. Okay. And yeah, Philbo, if you had any other questions about it, feel free to ask away. I'm happy to talk about this game. It is one of my favorite games. Okay. Graven Zephid comes in with 2 shield tokens and 5 life. And the effect of Myth Persistent. Bone gains 3 life. Add a power token to the oldest power in play. I've got... Let's say I'm worried about how that sounds. It sounds like Bone is going to get infinite hit points. And then my guess is bad things will trigger off of how many hit points Bone has. But again, all we can do is work with the information presented to us. Alright, player 2 goes. We're going to cast these 2 sparks to remove these 2 shield tokens from the Graven Zephid. Prep our 2 spells. We've got $3. $3 looks a lot like buying a Scrying Sugalite to me. Okay. Myth goes. So, Bone gains 3 life, up to 53. Add a power token to the oldest power in play. There are currently no powers in play, so easy enough. Speaking of powers, I'll put her deck right here, I guess. When a player or Gravehold suffers damage during Bone's Unleash, they suffer 1 additional damage. Okay. Power 5. Wow. Immediately, Myth unleashes. If Myth has more life than Bone, Bone gains 3 life. Otherwise, Bone unleashes. Gravehold or any player suffers 2 damage. Well, Oh, and that makes it 3 damage. Okay, so Gravehold takes 3 damage, down to 25. The only way to get rid of this is, or not the only way. It'll go away after 5 turns, right? But where to say, we can spend $3 to remove power tokens from that. Player 1's going to go. Cast our 2 sparks to do 3 damage to this Graven Zephid. Prep a spark here, and then we've got $5. $6 is what I meant to say. And I think $5 is going to be a cascade. Right? Actually, $5 might be a Scrying Sugalite. And a charge. And that's probably all the money that Lost needs, but we'll see. All right, Bone's going to do a thing now. Quagmire and Fib. Bone Persistent. Bone unleashes, Myth unleashes, add a fire token to your location on the map. That is a nasty minion right there. Player 1 goes. We're going to kill this Graven Zephid. I guess. I don't know. With these two. Sorry. Lost is going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We're going to prep 2 spells, and we've got $3. We've got $5 to buy. Sorry. If you have 5 or more spells in your discard pile, gain an additional $2. No, we've got $3. Okay, so $3, I think. Focuses a breach. Focus that breach. Yep, because we need to get more spell slots open. Okay. Player 2 goes now. Do 2 damage to this guy. Down to 6. And we're going to copy this to finish boosting this crystal, and then gain $1. So we're at $3. We prep 2 spells. And $3 buys us a Scrying Sugalite, I believe. Actually, maybe it buys us an Electrum Rod, which will help Lost to focus his breaches. I think we actually need money, though. Yeah, we're going to buy money. Okay. Claudia theoretically should be our money person, but she actually doesn't start with a whole ton of money at the moment. Although now that she has a 2 cost crystal, that will, that'll get better, certainly. All right. Player 2 goes again. 2 sparks, take this guy down to 4 life. $2, $3, $4, $5. And we prep that. $5 is going to buy an Ether Dust. All right. Player 1. Nice. We're going to play Cascade to deal 4 damage and kill this Quagmire Amphib before it gets to go. You love to see that. And we've got $5. Yep, we've got $5. Or it could be $7. Ooh, okay, it could be $7 if we cast this and buy a spell with it. So we're definitely going to do that. So we're going to prep these two things and spend $7 to buy a Rainbow Surge. Just deal 5 damage. Why not? We can afford it, so let's do it. Yeah, we've got better economy on Lost, which is pretty funny. But, you know, it is what it is. Player 1 goes. Do 3 damage. Down to 43 on the Paradox of Myth. Prep our 1 spark there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 spells in our discard pile. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6 to buy spells with. $6 to buy spells with, huh? I guess we'll buy a Quicksilver Bolt. I don't know. Or we could focus this and get a charge, because we want to get more spell slots open, definitely. So we'll do that. Because theoretically, Claudia is going to be able to feed us expensive cards at some point. Ooh, wow, the Nemesis is going to go twice in a row. Okay, so let me see. We prep this, and we've got 2, 4, 5, $6. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got $7. We've got $9 is what I meant to say. We've got $9 currently. $9, huh? That seems like a lot. We probably just buy a Rainbow Surge, I guess. A Rainbow Surge and a Spark. Yeah, sure. Seems totally fine. Okay. Myth goes. So we lose a power token off of this. And also, when a minion's persistent effect is resolved, that minion gains 1 life. This may cause it to have more than its starting life. Immediately, Myth unleashes. Power 5. If Bone has less life than Myth, Bone gains 4 life. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Myth is going to unleash. If Myth has more life than Bone, Bone gains 3 life. Otherwise, Bone unleashes. So, Gravehold or a player suffers 3 damage. I guess we'll just toss it on Gravehold. I don't know. Seems fine. Didn't you have a spark to cast for Claudia? I did, but I didn't have another spell in hand to put in that slot. And there's nothing out here that I immediately needed to do 1 damage to, so I just left it in there to keep it out of my deck. Bone is going to go. A Thicket Gibber. Has 5 life. Oh boy. It says, if Bone has less life than Myth, any player discards a prepped spell and adds a fire token to your location on the map. And its effect is Bone Unleashes, which is not ideal, but, you know, just have to do some damage to it, I guess. Shuffle up the old turn order deck here, and up first is player 1. So, we'll remove 1 shield token from this evil monkey. And we've got $3, which is enough to focus this, and then we can prep. Oh. Prep 3 spells. Easy enough. Man, if player 1 gets to go again, it would be great. Well, player 2 goes. So we deal 1 damage and remove this shield token. We deal 1 damage, I guess just to the boss, because this spell does 5 damage, so we don't need to do 1 damage. We prep 2 spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $5 is what we've got. Also, Lost gains an ether token, so he gets a free money on his next turn. And we've got $5, which do we just take an ether dust, I guess? We could take a spell, I guess, also, but we could also we're gonna focus this breach for 3 and buy a charge for 2. Is what we're gonna do. Oh, come on. I really needed Lost to go before Bone. Okay. This says, Bone unleashes if Bone has less life than Myth, but he does not. So Bone unleashes, which does 3 damage to somebody. We'll do 3 damage to Lost. Also, Bone unleashes twice. If Bone has less life than Myth, add a fire token to your location on the map and read card L2E20. Well, Bone doesn't have less life than Myth. They're really hammering on Bone having less life than Myth, which is why I think they're going to do something bad for us killing Myth. On their turn, Myth and Bone are considered 2, so blah. Just double checking the rules to make sure we can't, yeah, okay. So Bone unleashes twice, which is going to do 3 damage to Claudia and 3 damage to Gravehold, I guess, down to 19. All right, player 2 gets to go. So we do 2 damage to Paradox of Myth. Prep our Rainbow Surge. Before we prep our Rainbow Surge, we're going to copy this crystal to double boost this Rainbow Surge. So now if we kill a minion with it, we heal twice, or heal 2 hit points. And then we've got $2, which is just going to buy a charge. Okay. Player 1 finally gets to go. All right, so Rainbow Surge is going to kill this Thicket Gibber. It caused a minion to be discarded, so we boost this card, and we gain 1 life. Back up to 8. We're going to Cascade to do 4 damage to Paradox of Myth, down to 36. Also lets us return a card that costs $4 or less. from our discard pile to our hand. I guess I should draw my hand also. And we've got Molten Forge. Says deal a damage or gain $2 that can only be used to buy a spell. So we've got $6 in hand. I mean, I guess we just buy another Rainbow Surge. Prep our 2 sparks. Call it a day, you know? Yep, okay. And Myth goes. These things all lose some stuff, and also another power token shows up. It says when Bone unleashes, you must choose Gravehold to suffer the damage. Immediately, Myth unleashes twice. Ooh, okay. Well, so Gravehold takes 6 damage. This has power 6, huh? Well, this is looking a little bad now. Looking a little spicy for Gravehold, not gonna lie. So we need to start spending money to get rid of these things, is what it looks like. Because those things are bad, as it turns out. They all say immediately Myth unleashes, which is, you know, let's say not ideal. Player 1 goes. We do 3 damage to the Paradox of Myth. Those are there. Prep our 1 spell. We've got $1, $2, $3, $4. We're going to spend $3 to discard one of these power tokens. And I think that's all we can do that turn. Player 2 goes. We deal 5 damage. Down to 28. Prep our 2 spells. Ooh, Lost had $1 floating also, so he'll spend another. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives him $2 more, so he'll get a charge also. Okay. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $5 for Claudia. We're going to spend $3 and get rid of that. We're going to spend $2 to buy a charge. We're also going to give an Ether to Lost for his next turn. And that is all we got. Player 2 goes again. Let me see what our hand is. Alright, so we deal 2 damage down to 26 on the old Paradox of Myth here. We prep our 2 spells. And we've got $2, $4, $5 that we can use to buy a gem. And this says, the next time you gain a card this turn, you may place it into any ally's hand. Then any ally gains a copy of the same card and places it into their hand. So, I mean, I could give Lost a ton of money. Is that a thing that we want for Lost? I think it probably is. We're going to spend these 4 charges. And we're going to give Lost 2 copies of Ether Dust into his hand. Because he's got a ton of spells next turn. So we need to be able to get those played for him. Okay. Player 1 goes 2 damage to the old Paradox here. We've got we also give 2 Ether tokens to Claudia for her next turn. We've got 2, 4, 6. We've got $6. So we definitely open this for 3, and I think we spend 3 to discard this. Because it costs 4 to focus this. So, and then we're going to prep our 3 best spells. Hold on to Molten Forge because we can't play it currently. And that's all we got. But that is 10, 11, 4. That's 15 damage right there. So like we're getting pretty spicy on killing this guy. Myth goes. So this goes away. Finally. Let me get our hands here, because someone's going to have to discard a card out of their hand. These lose things. And also, another thing comes up. So this goes away. Any player discards a card in hand. And also, this has 6 power on it. When a player or Gravehold suffers damage during Bones Unleashed, they suffer an additional damage. I recognize that. It's the same thing we just got rid of. Immediately, Myth unleashes twice. So Gravehold takes 6 more damage. Down to 7, which seems bad. We really could use this lethal damage. Coming out kind of immediately. That's not my hand. This is my hand. Okay, so someone has to discard a card. We'll let Lost discard a card, I guess. Yeah, it's looking a little spicy. Bone gets to go. Gibber Mob has 14 life. Any player loses 3 charges or Gravehold suffers 5 damage. Okay, well, it's not great. Gravehold's looking a little rough at the moment. We really need a lot of instant damage. Like I said, we've got a ton of damage, right? But we really need to get rid of this that forces us to choose Gravehold when we do damage from Bones effect. That is what we need to have happen. Player 2 goes. Two damage. I guess the question is, do we care about trying to kill this guy, or do we just try to kill the Paradox of Myth? I think we're just trying to race the boss at this point. We're going to prep that. We're going to play this twice, which gives 2 Ether tokens to Lost. Ooh, Lost. I don't know. I don't remember if he had that last turn, but so that gives us $4, $5, $6. We can remove 2 of these things. And we spend $2 to gain a charge. Okay. Player 1 gets to go, and we do 6, 10, 15 damage. And we get that back into our hand. 15 damage, he's down to 7. And we prep those 2 spells, and we've got $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8. $8 is not quite enough. Well, it's enough to do this for 3. This for 3. And then we buy a charge for our final 2. Myth gets to go. So this goes off. Thankfully, that lets us choose players to take damage instead of Gravehold, because Gravehold's only at 7 life. Any player discards 2 cards in hand, and we add a fire token. So put a fire token up here. Someone has to discard some cards. Two cards is what you're telling me, huh? I guess we don't really care about a lot of these cards at this juncture. Guess Lost will discard 2 cards. It's fine. We just need Gravehold to not die right now, because we also have to flip another card. Obelisk Idol. Has 2 shield tokens and 9 hit points. Its persistent effect is the player with the most prepped spells suffers 2 damage. Add a fire token to your location on the map. Okay. I mean, we need Lost to go right now. Well, that's not Lost, but, you know. Rainbow Surge does 5 damage to the Paradox of Myth. We prep 2 spells, and we've got $5, which I think removes one of these. Remove one of these. And gains us a charge. We've got $6. Removes 2 of these. And doesn't gain us a charge. Okay. We got a 50-50 shot. We need player 1 to go before Bone goes. Hey, player 1 goes before Bone goes. We fire off these things and kill the Paradox of Myth. Easy enough. We just need to hope that we don't get severely punished for having not even looked at hurting Bone even once. If you defeat Myth, read section 50. If you defeat Bone, read section 40. Okay. Section 50. The golden mask falls from the sky, clattering to a rough landing on the stony ground. Its chains go slack, the metallic sheen fading from them as they corrode away into nothing before the mage's very eyes. As the chains dissolve, the beast that was once restrained breaks free and screams with pain and anger, tossing its head wildly, as if seeking the partner it can no longer see. The mages gather themselves together, readying more spells, but before they can do anything, the monstrous beast turns and runs back toward the void portal, still swirling behind it, and leaps entirely through. The portal snaps shut, and the mages are left in stunned silence. If you won your first game versus Paradox of Myth and Bone, your group gains 4 experience per player. Otherwise, your group gains 2 experience per player. Either way, do not spend this experience yet. Record the results of this game on the back of this booklet. Write the number of fire tokens on the ruin's location on the map. Okay. Affiliation, Gravehold, Nemesis, Myth and Bone. Passage read at the beginning of the fight. I don't remember. 60? Nope. I don't remember which one we read at the beginning. 58. Location, the ruins. Result, win. Number of fires, 1. Passage read at the end of the fight, 50. I think that went pretty well. We'll probably have to fight Bone again later, so hopefully we won't get absolutely demolished for, not having ever looked at them. Okay. So let me see. We get 4 experience per player, so we got 8 experience total. Eight experience. Find the bone sticker. Hold on. I was supposed to write fire on the map. 1 fire on the map. Find the bone sticker on sticker sheet. All right, hold on. Bone sticker on sticker sheet 3, section 4. I saw that earlier. Oh, it looks like we, if we had killed Bone, it looks like Myth would have flown off, and we would probably have to fight them later also. It makes sense that we would fight one or the other later. Okay, Bone goes in the blank space in the forest. Okay. If you just fought your second nemesis, read section 90. Okay. That was our second nemesis. Section 90. Okay. Gygar falls to his knees and presses a hand against the exposed stonework of the ruins. So much history, he moans, lost in a pointless battle. Hey, I mean, they were already ruined, Claudia says cheerfully. Now they're just more ruined. There will be helpful artifacts here, Nook says. There were helpful artifacts here. There are helpful artifacts here. Good idea, Nook. Claudia turns to the group. We should retrieve everything we still can. It'll probably come in useful for defending New Gravehold. It's despicable for Zana to be sending Nameless after innocent people no matter what her goals, Kadir snaps, her hands tightening into fists. I can't believe she would do something like this. Inko, Lost pipes up. Right, of course. As soon as we've collected everything we can, we need to go to South Post. Inko still needs our help. Open envelope 12. Add both mages there to your Gravehold barracks. Alright, so we're going to get a bunch more stuff here in a second. Let me mark our place here and clean up our cards before we start digging into all that. So, how did you guys think the game went? I feel like it went quite well. For my part, I feel like it went quite well. We kind of crushed those guys. I feel like having two bosses and not punishing you for just focus firing one of them feels a little weird. It seems like you would want to force people to engage with both, Boom, 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 boom. So I'm sorting these back out. 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. Two, two, one. So there's Myth. I like that these guys had these weird monkey demons backing them up. That's just cool. That's just cool to me. Alright, so there's Myth and Bone. So game over, and all this new stuff is for the next game. Yeah, so this is what's called a legacy game, Felbo. So this entire narrative book that I've been reading out of, and I'm writing on cards and putting stickers on cards and stuff, is all part of an ongoing campaign. I think in this game it's like 20-ish games long. And then at the end, you play through the whole story and make all these choices and stuff. And then at the end, there's reusable stuff that you can use outside of this in just one-shot games and stuff. But, excuse me, kind of the fun of the whole Legacy idea is that you get to, power up your mages and make all these choices and stuff as you go through. So, we earned experience by winning that fight that we will be able to spend on upgrades going forward, and it'll be where'd they go? Like stickers that you can put on mage mats to make them more powerful, and stickers you can put on cards to make them more powerful and stuff. So this is the second Aeon's End Legacy game that there has been. But it just came out. I got it in the mail yesterday. And I've been having a ton of fun with it so far. Alright, so we'll sort our cards back out here. Claudia seemed really fun, although, she started out surprisingly weak on economy for being what looked like so economy focused. Not a complaint, honestly, but it's just funny that Lost had so much more instant economy than her. Although, her being able to boost cards basically at will is going to be pretty nice going forward, I think. Alright, so here's our starting cards, crystals, Scrying Sugalites. Alright, so let's look at the stuff that we get for next game. Open envelope 12. Okay. And yeah, Philbo, there's this entire giant thing of envelopes that are all the, things that you're going to get for each game. And there's just a huge box full of these like decks of sealed cards and stuff that you only open at certain times. All sorts of fun stuff to unlock and play with, Alright, so we need envelope 12. Add both of the mages there to your Gravehold barracks. We've got Inko and Talix. Inko looks more viney than he was last time. Harvest up to 2 cards in your hand or discard pile. Resolve the harvest effects on these cards twice. When a card is harvested, destroy it. Wow, that sounds cool. Cast a number of your prep sparks. These spells deal 2 additional damage. You may destroy a spark in your discard pile. Cool. Okay. Find sticker sheet 2, section 2. Okay. Presumably more upgrades and stuff. Yep, Gravehold enhancements. So we got more breach enhancements, more crystal and spark enhancements, more general enhancements. To add to our barracks, what do we get? You may spend $2 to remove 1 fire token. You may place the next relic you gain this turn into your hand. Ooh, okay. You can make a spark destroy itself. That's nice. When a spell is cast from this breach, the player who cast it may look at the top 2 cards of their deck. They may place any number of those cards into their discard pile. At the end of your casting phase, if you have 7 or more cards in your discard pile, focus any player's closed breach with the lowest focus cost. Once per turn, when you cast a spell that costs 6 or more, gain a charge. Start of each player's first turn of the game, that player focuses one of their breaches. I mean, these are all really good. These are all really good. Okay. What else? Open deck IT. Presumably that will be Inko and Talix's cards. Yep, okay, so here are Talix's cards. Gain $1 for each of your prepped sparks, and a bunch more sparks. That's cool. And Inko's cards are all... They're basically crystals and sparks, but you can harvest them to gain more stuff and then destroy them. That's all fun stuff. I like fun, weird stuff. Alright, open deck GHR. Add all of the upgraded basic Nemesis cards to the Nemesis cards in your Gravehold barracks. You will always use as many of the upgraded Nemesis cards as possible when building the Nemesis deck moving forward. Okay, GHR. That's what we're looking for now. GHR. More bad stuff for us is what it sounds like. Oh, 4 new cards there. And a bunch more barracks cards. Ooh, okay. If there were 5 or more fire tokens, banish some of these cards. If there are 8 or more, also banish some more cards. Add any remaining cards from this deck to your barracks. If any unbanished mages have severed stickers, find the number in the upper right corner of the back of your mage mat and read the narrative section matching that number. If you win your game and there are 2 or fewer fire tokens, place card L2E25 into your Gravehold barracks. Okay, well, L2E25, we only had 1 fire token, so... Place this in your barracks with the player cards. Play this at the beginning of the next game. Each player focuses one of their breaches at the start of the first turn. Banish this card. Nice. So we get a bonus for keeping the fire under control. I'm all about that. Adding our upgraded cards to the barracks, and we get all of these fun new cards. Glint Splinter, Recall. You may discard a prep spell. If you do, gain $1, and you may place the next card you gain this turn on top of your deck. Ooh, okay. Flamequake, deal 5 damage. Recall, lose 2 charges, and to remove a fire token from your location on the map. Silence a minion. Any ally gains 2 ether tokens. And it'll heal Gravehold when it's in our discard pile. Gain 2 ether. You may place your deck into your discard pile without rearranging the cards. Wow. Wow, that's weird. Okay. Cool. So, fun new cards to play with next time. And it says, when you're ready to begin the next game, read section 37. So, that will be where we pick up next time. Heading to south, the southern outpost to fight whatever nasty stuff awaits us there. 3-5. We got 8 XP. Cool, and yeah, I'm going to call it there. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the playthrough so far. I will be back either tomorrow afternoon or Sunday afternoon to play more of this. I'm not sure exactly which one yet, but just keep an eye on my... what was I trying to say? Keep an eye on my Twitter account or Go Live notifications, and, hopefully I'll see you guys next time, because I am looking forward to playing more of this cool game. Philbo, a pleasure as always, my friend. Have a good afternoon, buddy.